My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my spoiler-filled review of Horizon Zero Dawn. So this review will have spoilers, so if you haven't played it, go and play it. Then come back and watch my review because I will be going in depth. Now, if you watched my spoiler-free review, you'd know that I absolutely hated this game. And a big part of that is the story and characters. So I'm going to be going a bit more in depth with those two areas here. Beginning with the fact that Aloy and Royce getting ostracized from the tribes never made sense to me. It just felt like a cliche for the sake of it, as there was no grander purpose. They're ostracized because they're not one of them, because they're outsiders. Is that really it? But they can still compete in the proving? It's just, it didn't make any sense to me. And then from them to instantly start to love her as soon as she starts helping them out, it's like you go from 0 to 100 really fast. You go from hating her, don't talk to her, we want nothing to do with her, to, oh my god, she's the best person ever. Just like that. I didn't buy it. Not at all. And I never really got why she cared so much about what they thought about her, why she felt like she had to prove herself to them, but whatever, that's present. So she attempts to do so by competing in the proving. And the proving might be one of the most underwhelming aspects of this game, which is saying a lot, because they build it up so much, and they're like, oh, you gotta prove yourself at the proving, which is really well named, by the way. Oh, if you want people's respect, this is what you do. So you expect there to be some competition, you expect there to be some challenge to come with that, and then you get to the day of the proving, and all it is that you try to hunt a few wobo animals, and then you went on this trail, and that's it. And I'm just like, really? All that build-up for this? Like, it feels like any one of these people could do it. It didn't feel like a challenge in any way. So what really is she proving? And then the proving gets interrupted, and this just felt like it came out of nowhere. Like, there's no build-up to this threat. It just all kind of happens like this because the script says so. So I had Zero Impact, and then Voiced, who's voiced by J.B. Blank, who also voiced Vandal in my favorite TV show, Arcane. He's a very talented actor, and I feel like they completely wasted him. But the writing behind his character is terrible. Like, he's terribly developed. I never cared for him when he died, because there's just nothing there. Like, we don't really see many scenes of him and Aloy early on, and he's just one of those guys who always puts up a barrier, so there's not much to connect to. So when he dies, it's supposed to have this huge impact, but it really doesn't. And then Aloy wakes up, and now everyone is super nice to her. Everyone loves and trusts her all of a sudden. And you have to look for this traitor. And this traitor is a terribly developed character. There's only one scene early on where you talk to him. And because you don't know the character, you don't feel the weight of the betrayal. Like, there's one character named Teeb, who you save early on in the game. And there's a past between you and him. And then you run into him again, and he's all happy to see you. And if he was the traitor, the one who betrayed everyone, that would have a bit more emotional weight behind it because you know this guy. But no, but then you find out that these people are after Aloy because she looks like this one old scientist lady. And can I just say that's the most contrived nonsense to kick off the plot? Like, it's meant to be there, so there's a reason for her to find out about the apocalypse and into the journey into Aloy as a character, but it never works on that level. The rest of the story from this point forward is just non-stop exposition. You want answers, that's all the game's going to give you. Just answers. Just non-stop answers and exposition. And exposition is just the least interesting way to relay information. It's just an information dump. There's interesting ways to do it in character and story, but this game is so terribly written that they don't go into that avenue. Instead, you just get exposition dump after exposition dump, all these different holograms and all these people telling you all this stuff. It's impossible to get invested in the story because there's nothing to get invested in. Like, what's even going on for the majority of this game? You just go from one cool looking location immediately to the next. And whenever you get to a location, you spend like 20 minutes there and then you leave. And it just feels like every single location is so irrelevant. And it's just like each location in each quest is a different piece of the puzzle, but it's a 1,000-piece puzzle, and you have to go to all these different locations, and it's just, by the end, when you put all the pieces together, it's just the most generic, uninteresting puzzle. There's even one moment where you find out that Aloy is a genetically engineered clone of this scientist. And it plays it off like it's this huge, shocking moment. And my reaction was, duh, of course she is. Like, I thought that was pretty obvious. But no, the game plays it off like it's a giant twist. So maybe you can defend that by saying that it's not a huge reveal to the audience, but it's a huge reveal to the character. But I feel like even she should have figured it out by that point. Like, the main character is just kind of set to be this real dumb person. Like, she thinks that this Elizabeth person is still alive. Why would she think that? All the evidence points to her being dead. So when she finds out that she's dead, that moment has no emotional weight because it's just like, duh. Like, it's like we're always 20 steps ahead of the main character and you're just waiting for her to catch up to you. And when she eventually does, it's just like, took you long enough. And like I said in my earlier review, the supporting characters are all terrible. Like, what does Cylons even do? He just shows up when convenient. He relays information when convenient. He's never an actual character. I never cared for Aaron, and that whole story with his sister Ursa was just stupid. Because like the game's building up, like you have to defeat the evil robot Apocalypse. You have to defeat Hades. And then you just go into this non-sequel side quest before this big finale. And it just feels like, shouldn't the main character have a bit more urgency for a possible apocalypse? But I guess not. But yeah, it turns out Ursa's not actually dead. So then you go to find her. And then as soon as you find her, she's alive. And she dies shortly after just for her to give her last words to Aaron. And I don't know if this was supposed to have any emotional significance. But it didn't. It felt completely flat. And there's like one really stupid line. Because she draws a map out with blood, I guess, so they can find her. And Aaron's just like, oh, it's a map drawn with blood. And Aaron's just like, those maps you want to follow. What a stupid line. I hated the character. But anyways, there's this villain plot that he wants to blow up the city. So you find this area with 2 bombs. And you're just like, really? Is he really going to try to blow up the city with these bombs? Like, I imagine each one of these bombs would be super powerful. So then, like, you push one out and it blows up. And it's just like, really? That's it? He really think that would blow up the entire city? Because I don't even think it would blow up a fraction of it. Like, even later on, the bad guy's just like, what? The bomb didn't go off? So clearly, it wasn't even loud enough for him to realize that it went off already. But even, why is the villain doing this? Like, he's just evil for the sake of it. There's no real grander purpose. It's like I said in my other review. The villains are just kind of there. They don't have any bit of presence. They're not consistent within this storyline. Like, by the end, you're fighting this guy named Dorval. And my reaction was, who the hell is this guy? Was he that sun god in that arena dude? Or was he the guy who killed Waste? Or who is he? This villain wasn't built up to at all. If he is the guy that killed Waste, then shouldn't there be a personal angle? Shouldn't they try to make you feel the emotions that Aloy feels? That anger that she lost her father figure? You know, that rage? Just anything? But no, he's just the most generic villain. And then, like, when she's fighting the main guy, she tells everyone else, leave him to me. It's my fight. Really? Why is this your fight? Like, if he is the guy to kill her dad, you'd think she would have said something to him, like, that is for Voiced. And then, you know, stab him or something. But after Voiced dies, he never gets brought up again. You never think about him again. So he just really ends up feeling like an unneeded character. It's like I said in my other review too. How do we go from the proving of you trying to prove yourself to this tribe so you can be a part of it, to this robot apocalypse and this guy trying to blow up a city? Like, how do you get from there to there? Because all you're going is going to all these different locations, finding out exposition. Occasionally you'll fight these enemies that are a part of the villain's group. And just trying to figure out the lines that connect the beginning to the end, it's just all over the place. It's not a straight line. It's very messy, and there's no through lines throughout. You know, not even is there a real character arc to Aloy. Not even is there anything going on that's consistent throughout the entire story. It's just a mess of a story. And then this happens, and then this happens. It all feels random. There's no cause and effect element to it, which is needed in great stories. I've said it a billion times and I'll keep saying it, but the South Park guys give some of the best writing advice I've ever heard, that when you're writing a script, don't go and then this happens. Say, therefore, this happens. Because then you make everything feel connected, and nothing in this mishmash all over the place mess of a story does anything feel connected. It's just non-stop exposition with villains that you couldn't care less about. Aloy is this perfect character with no flaws. She starts off being ostracized from this tribe and then immediately gains their respect and their love, and everyone loves her, and then she does everything right to this entire story. By the end, she's a hero and everyone still loves her. She's not an interesting character. Take a character like Ellie in Last of Us Part 2, where you understand why she's doing what she's doing throughout the entire story, but you're watching her mess up time and time again. And you're basically watching this person who was once a hopeful, joyful person getting rain dry out of all that as we watch her turn into this broken, damaged person, and it's devastating. And it's a story that hasn't left my mind since I first played it. It's a character whose arc is so devastatingly brilliantly written. And Aloy is just the most flat, generic, boring character they could have come up with. Hate the supporting characters, they lack any personality, and the voice cast could have given them a bit more oomph, you know, something to make them stand out, but they really don't. And I just hate this world, the backstory behind it, that the world was destroyed by this robot apocalypse and now they started over. Like, I guess in concept that's an interesting idea, but the actual execution of it completely falls apart, and the robot animal thing is still really stupid. This game lacks any bit of emotional weight. It's just a game. I played it, I'll never play it again, and I'll never play the sequel. I don't understand the love this game's received, because it's not fun, it's not thrilling, it's not exciting, it's not emotional. All the world building elements are as cliche and generic as they come. There's no great supporting characters or any characters, period. The main character's boring, the villains are boring. I just really hate this game. So, yes, that is my spoiler review of Horizon Zero Dawn. What do you think of this game, though? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon. And Gavin